Welcome to the Investing Bros. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Maybe you're grabbing lunch. Maybe you're making lunch for the kids as they head out the door to school. In any case, I am T-Shroom, and we're going to get into some crypto news. We're going to take a look at some charts, and we're going to have a little fun. Go ahead and consider subscribing to this channel if you're watching for the first time, but let me earn it. Okay? Let me earn that subscribe. Let me earn that like. We're going to get to the midsection of this video, and I'm going to ask you again to do just that. But before we get there, we've got to take a look at some crazy price action for Ethereum. Now, this is something I haven't heard a bunch of people talking about, but Ethereum on the 1 month chart is actually looking to make a MACD bullish cross here. So the MACD lines signaling some momentum here is actually moving towards the bulls. You can see this is quite a long-term chart here, so don't get too crazy. This is going back to 2019 all the way back, right? So right around here, you've got 2022, okay? And moving into 2023 here, you can see that the red MACD lines have signaled on Ethereum that we have been in a bear market. That should not be news to you, okay? What should be news is that there is a imminent bull cross coming for Ethereum on the monthly chart, just on your default settings MACD there. So very encouraging for Ethereum that has gotten up above the MACD lines here for the midline of the Bollinger Bands. Wow, MACD lines, Bollinger Bands, we're having fun. Taking a look at Bitcoin, down not on the monthly, but back down on the 4 hour. You can see that Bitcoin has come down, tapped this uptrending line of support that I won't zoom out to now, and is now testing the midline here of the Bollinger Band, right? Hasn't been able to really convincingly close above that Bollinger Band quite yet here on the 4 hour, but that is absolutely what it's trying to do, trying to break through that and push higher to test higher. Guys, again, I said it earlier this week, my hunch is that Bitcoin probably is going to be going lower. That's my hunch. Now, if you look at the charts, we got a wick back here on the 14th. We got a wick down to 34.7, okay? Hopefully some of you guys got to pick some of that up. I got it relatively low. I got it at, I think, 35.4. Okay, so not too bad, right? But I think we go lower from here. Guys, I've got some good news, and I'm going to be talking about it here in just a few minutes, and it involves someone who's in the chat, Army Piper. He's going to be, I'm going to be releasing some news about him here in just a second, and you guys are going to be excited about it. But yeah, so that's Bitcoin. I do think that we're going to see kind of a faded retracement, and it may take a while for this to happen. But I think Bitcoin's going to probably make another run up, get rejected, and then make a move lower here, and actually break down and end up somewhere around 32, and then come back up. More than likely, though, this is what's probably going to happen is it's going to come up here, reject, move, test, move, test, come back higher, and then probably do something more like this and just take its sweet time to try to figure out where it wants to go. Now, what would throw a giant wrench into this? The ETF listing, which we do have a little bit of news on that today, not much, but that ETF listing acceptance, the ETF acceptance, spot Bitcoin or spot ETF for Ethereum, either one of those would send these prices quite a bit higher. Okay. So, but this is kind of what I'm thinking is that because what happens here, guys? This is what we're observing right now. All of this buying here, right here, right. This is a lot of technical buying at the front end, okay. But then that starts to send echoes and headlines around the space that actually make their way into mainstream media, right. And that's when your uncle comes to you and says, "Hey, this whole Bitcoin thing, are you still doing that, bud?" And your employees come to you and say, "Hey, boss, is this? I know you have a little Bitcoin. I know you have some Cardano. I heard that they're doing well. Should I buy that?" Right? And that shoots the price higher. And then you have to obviously realize that this has a multiplying effect. It's not just your uncle, right? It's everybody's uncle. That's the point I'm trying to make here. And if they're like most boomers, they've done well in real estate, right? They bought a house early, and they are waiting to sell that, and so they have excess capital. They've got excess equity, so they feel comfortable buying more than $5,000 worth of Bitcoin, right? We're talking about bigger buys. So anyway, the point here I'm trying to make is that that pool of money, that initial pool here that we're seeing move into crypto, it seems like the buying has slowed, and you can see that here on the price chart, right? It's obviously not this direction, right? Now it's more this direction, right? So the trajectory has changed, and therefore I do think that we're going to see a little bit of a test lower here. But we have plenty of room, to test lower and go check out some of these levels, 32, 30, and that's when you should buy. That, well, not financial advice, but that's where I'm looking to try and build up a little more. I do have some dry powder on the sidelines. Now, you clicked on this video because you're excited about Kaspa. So let's get into Kaspa news. Here we go. Kaspa cryptocurrency hits all-time high amid Binance listing. And this is actually a website that I've been looking at since I was in college. This is investing.com, and I think they may have gotten a little ahead of their skis. I know that a lot of times these like bigger media companies, they'll pre-write a lot of these articles in anticipation of them happening. It's kind of interesting here because we'll get into it. Following its addition to the Coinbase platform, the digital currency's price began to climb from 8 cents on Sunday, reaching an all-time high, a phenomenon often attributed to the so-called Coinbase effect, which confers a sense of legitimacy to the listed asset. The momentum continued as Binance, one of the world's leading cryptocurrency exchanges, announced it would list CAS for perpetual trading starting today. So this is the headline here. Whoa. I don't know what's going on up here, because if you search Kaspa Coinbase on Google, there is no indication that Kaspa is on Coinbase. So let me know in the chat, let me know in the comments, what is this? Is this investing.com article just wrong? Because I also opened up my Coinbase app, and it's not, you can see the price, right, of Kaspa, but you can't buy it. It's not available yet. So what am I missing here, guys? Let me know. Or is investing.com just getting a little ahead of their skis here? Are they just wrong? But as you can see, guys, here on the 4 hour here for Kaspa, there has been some crazy price movement. Now, I got into Kaspa back here around 8-9 cents. And then I also bought a little bit more around here, around 11 cents. Then it would have been back here. Actually, it would have been on this pullback, so probably more around 10 cents. So pretty nice movement here from Kaspa, getting all the way up to 14 cents, 0.1478, however we want to say it, right? It got pretty high. It's done really well. Now it's retracing. So should you be scared? Should you sell all your Kaspa? Is it going lower from here? Right? And no, the answer is no. You should hold, right? Not financial advice, but if you think that Kaspa could be the next Bitcoin, right? Could be a significant competitor to a lot of these bigger cryptos, like Cardano, like Solana, like HBAR, like AVAX, right? Like these bigger, more established cryptos, then you hold it, right? You have conviction. That's certainly why I'm invested in it. Now, you might be invested in it for the quick pop, right? So do you take profit here? Yeah, sure. If you don't think Kaspa is actually going to be a project that has legs, then you have every right to sell, right? And you still have every right to sell if you're an investor too, right? But what I'm saying is your thesis hasn't really changed. Nothing has changed. Why has it pulled back? Because of the listing. See, this is the phenomenon of being overbought. See, Kaspa got overly bullish. A lot of people making videos, right? That uncle finding out about crypto phenomenon got turned up to 10 in Kaspa because it's the next coin to make everybody a millionaire, right? And I think that if there is a coin that's going to do that, Kaspa is probably up there in terms of making that happen for you in your portfolio. So why are we seeing a pullback then? Because it was overbought. Okay, it was overbought, and also you can see down here the Ichimoku oscillator showing you that the bulls lost control. Okay, and it has now fallen out of that zone and is moving towards the zero line. Now, how far it goes down, I don't know, but you can see here on the 4 hour that it is tested the midline of the Bollinger Band, which comes in right at around 1130.113, and that is, that seems like a good enough level all the way around, because you also have the trend assistant here from Chart Prime, right at that same level, and it's under a strong buy, at least on the 4 hour. Okay, so it's interesting. So why, again, I may have not have fully answered the question for you. Why is the listing on Binance and maybe slash not really listing on Coinbase bringing the price of Kaspa down? Because if you're new to crypto, guys, there's this if you're new to trading and investing in general, there's this concept called buy the rumor, sell the news, right? So when the news happens, the noobs are left holding the bags at the top, right, and buying the top, and then they're holding a bag as the price comes down. Now, in the case of Kaspa, I wouldn't mind having bought the top here, right, because I think that 15 cents is still a steal for what Kaspa is about to do over the next 2 years price-wise. Okay, but that's an investment mentality. You may not have that if you're a trader. And if you get in at 15 and it comes down 20%, that's not good if you're a trader. That's bad. That's a loss. It's not a loss till you lose, but till you sell, but that is bad. Okay. From an investment mentality, I'm just accumulating Kaspa, right? So this correction to me doesn't scare me, right? It is the beginnings of the listings, right? Which is a big bullish narrative for Kaspa, which is it's not listed pretty much anywhere other than Uphold and MACD, and now it's looking like it's going to be on Binance futures or Binance perpetuals. So that's an interesting way. I don't know if you're going to be able to buy it spot or yet on Binance. Coinbase getting thrown into that investing.com article, but not really seeing anything about that. So we've got a lot more news, guys. We're going to be getting into it, but that's the long and short of what's going on with Kaspa. If we zoom out to the daily chart for Kaspa, let's see what's going on. What's crack-a-lackin', man? This thing has just absolutely taken off. We're still under a green trend assistant. Has this ever been red? Okay, there has been a time where Kaspa's price was red on the trend assistant, but you can see 1, 2, 3 strong buys under a green trend assistant. Now you say, T-Shroom, what about those sells? Those sells, you could have probably traded on that, but the reality is when Chart Prime is calling a green trend assistant, right? That is bullish, right? And it's very good to use the confluence of the of the buy signals, the strong buy signals, and the green trend assistant. So that's the way that works. So a sell is not necessarily something that I'm going to pay attention to while the trend assistant is still green. Guys, if you don't have Chart Prime, then this is kind of not super relevant to you because Chart Prime's highly sophisticated algorithms are producing this green line. If I take away the Bollinger Bands, right, because they're kind of getting in the way here, you can see that this green trend assistant line, where's that coming from? It's coming from proprietary algorithms over at Chart Prime. So I'll tell you here in a second how you can get access to these, sophisticated algorithms from Chart Prime, but just know that this isn't a free thing. Like people are paying for this, I'm paying for this, and it's very, very good. It gives me an edge in the market because I can see what other traders can't. Okay, so that's Kaspa in a nutshell. The long and short of Kaspa. I like saying that. So let's go ahead and move on. But before we do, let's go ahead and look at some of the comments here because I am seeing Piper in the chat, and I'll go ahead and tell you guys Piper is going to be joining me at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our live show here on Investing Bros, and that's going to be a ton of fun. Piper, I cannot wait to have you on the channel. We're going to have a ton of fun looking at the charts, breaking down the news, and Piper said, T-Shroom in the house. Said, you earned it by just showing up. Yes, I am going to ask you all, go ahead and smash that like button. If you feel like you've gotten any value out of this, maybe you learned some things about Kaspa today that you didn't know, or maybe just like the video because here's some alpha I brought you guys that you probably weren't tracking, is that Ethereum MACD bullish cross on the 1 monthly, right? I highly doubt you knew that. Maybe you did. But anyway, if for nothing else, for the bull cross on the MACD for Ethereum. Let's see what else is going on here in the chat. Marquise Sajak said, good morning, bros. Good morning to you, said Jack. Everyone, Crypto Joe said, GM all. Doge to the moon. Yes, Doge is doing very well this morning. Gia S said, GM. Happy Friday. Happy Friday indeed. I hope that you all are really, really enjoying your Friday, headed into the weekend. Dustin Singer said, good morning, bros. And C90FTW said, morning, fellas. Very, very good to see everybody here. Now, Crypto Military Vet said, Kaspa just played the exit liquidity game. functioning as normal. Get listed, get paid. Yeah, exactly. So if you're new to crypto, this is a phenomenon that happens again and again. So there's a lot of hype leading up to the listing. Sometimes when it's listed, the price will go higher for a crypto that has not yet been listed. But most of the time, there's what's called a buy the rumor, right? Sell the news. So when the actual event happens, a lot of sophisticated traders who've been around for a while, they'll sell it. Now, I'm not selling because that's not part of my strategy. I'm not trading Kaspa, right? I'm buying it to sell it much higher later on in the bull market, which we have, it's debatable whether or not we've even entered the bull market. We've certainly entered a bull rally, but we have not entered the bull market, according to many analysts, right? Okay, so taking a look here at the Ethereum MACD bull cross, you can see the last time that this happened was back on the monthly chart, was back here April 1st. That's actually kind of funny. You can see how much that jumped. It was in midsummer of 2020, okay? And you can see when that cross happened, there was some immediate movement to the upside, but the explosive movement didn't happen really until this November candle. Okay, again on the monthly charts. If you're really new, you can tell TradingView to make the chart, make each candle represent any time increment. The time increment I'm looking at is one candle equals 1 month of trading movement, right? Versus 1 day versus 4 hours. You can go all the way to 1 minute. That's a moment for the noobs. You're welcome. So back here on the monthly chart, you can see the last time there was a bullish MACD cross for Ethereum, it just skyrocketed. Well, we're about to see another one, guys. We are about to see another one, and look, Ethereum, pumping along here on this uptrending line of support. You all have been watching this, I'm sure. This is nothing new to you. Maybe this is. Maybe not. Let me know in the chat. Have you been tracking this 1 month MACD cross on Ethereum? Maybe you have. Let me know. I'd love to know how many people have been tracking this already. T-Shroom, you're so proud of your technical analysis. Yes, indeed. All right, so thank you guys so much for tuning in and letting me know in the chat what you're thinking. MLK said hi, so excellent. Love to hear from MLK. All right, you got one here. Rocky Top, you'll always be. So we got a Tennessee fan, perhaps, said, I'm not buying anything right now. This correction was nothing. Bigger one has to come. Okay. That's definitely something that Tim and I are tracking, right? We might talk a little bit about that with Piper today at 3 p.m., kind of the bigger pullback, right? We did just talk about how Bitcoin could pull back to 32 and 30, right? K per coin. It's possible, and it's also, in my opinion, hopefully likely. But I'm optimistic, right? I'm optimistic that that Bitcoin would pull back that far. I definitely don't know that, right? But it is certainly in the cards, much further down than that. And I think you're getting probably a little too optimistic without some significant FUD, without some significant legit bearish news, on the scale of Binance going down, Binance being removed from a major country, right? Something significant, a hack on a major chain, right? Some kind of vulnerability in a major chain that hasn't really been, something like that would have to happen in order for Bitcoin to push much lower than 30K, in my opinion. Nav R1 said, it does after every listing. It's the rumor that pumps. 100%. So that is, just more confirmation here. Gia S said, hit the like. Well, Gia S technically put some up arrows pointing to Ada Ace saying, hit the like. So guys, absolutely consider liking this video and smash the subscribe button. A little switcheroo there for you guys. Piper getting excited for the 3 p.m. show. Man, it is going to be absolutely fuego. So let's get excited for that. Guys, let's go ahead and jump on into the news. We've checked in with the chat. We've looked at the biggest news, which is that Kaspa listing over on Binance Perps. Now let's go ahead and see what else is rocking in the world. U.S. economy cools as retail sales dip. Monthly producer price decline. Now this is news from November 15th, but I wanted to opine for a moment on this news. So the prints were retail sales fall by 0.1% in September. And that was a revision slightly higher. Core retail sales increased 0.2, September data revised up, and then producer price falls 0.5, okay, up 1.3 on year basis. So honestly, that's not telling us very much one way or the other, but I do like the conclusion in this Reuters article, so I wanted to bring it to you all here. With the CPI and PPI data in hand, economists estimated that the core PCE price index increased 0.2% in October after increasing 0.3% in September. That would lower the annual increase in the core PCE price index to 3.5%, which would be the smallest gain since April 2021 from 3.7% in September. Fed officials are getting to keep their cake and eat it too so far, said Christopher Rumpke, chief economist at a firm in New York. The economy is not too cold, not too hot. It's just right for now. So that's the long and short there from Christopher Rumpke. You know, he's an analyst up there in New York, and I tend to agree with him here. The Fed is seeming to get away with it, right? They're seeming to have lulled the market into a slightly risk-on tone in the face of all that just happened. Okay, so that's generally good for risk assets. It's created an environment for crypto that in this moment, right, there's not a fear for those new retail entrants into the market saying, should I maybe sell a little bit of Microsoft, right, and buy some Bitcoin? Should I maybe, I'm selling my home in the next 3 months. Should I maybe use some of that money from that sale to buy a little Bitcoin? It sure is hot with the kids, and my brother made a bunch of money on it, or, my plumber was telling me about how he only owns Bitcoin, right? These narratives here are powerful and strong, right, to buy Bitcoin, similar thesis to gold. But if the overall economic environment is screaming risk off, don't take any risks, just hold cash, right, then those new retail entrants are unlikely to purchase Bitcoin. Well, the economy is playing ball, right? Christopher Rumpke says it's not too cold, not too hot. It's just right, and it's just ripe for buying Bitcoin. Okay, not at the levels that we're going to see post-halving, but not everybody's smart enough to get in early. All right, let's go ahead and get into the next story here. South Korean pension fund buys $20 million worth of Coinbase stock. That's just bullish, right? I'm not going to get into the details of that. We'll take a quick look here at the Coinbase charts. Up and to the right. This is a 1-year chart here. You can see it's the 4-hour, which probably didn't have to do that, but this is 2023 back here. And as you can see, I'm going to point some things out here for you. Here's a low. Here's a low. Here's a low. What do you notice about these lows? They are consistently what? Higher, okay? They're up and to the right for Coinbase. Now let's contrast that to another stock that is somewhat similar, okay? And that is Robinhood, okay? TradFi. Now, what I want you to also be tracking is the same thing. Got a low here. I've already got it drawn because not the first time I've done this one. And one here, okay? What do you notice about these lows? These lows are, here's a higher low, right? But then here's a lower low. So what is that telling investors? What is that telling me? The people are buying Coinbase, investors, Wall Street, right? Hedge funds. They're buying Coinbase more aggressively this year than they're buying Robinhood, right? And there's a lot that goes into that. It's not exactly a one-to-one comparison because Coinbase and Robinhood have slightly different profit models of how they actually make money in return to investors, right? But they are similar. They're similar in their positioning to the retail market. They are going after retail dollars and saying, hey, give us your dollars to invest in these assets, and we will take a small fee, right? That's very similar. And Wall Street is loving Coinbase. And so am I. I'm not selling my Coinbase stock. Here we go. Ripple CLO accuses SEC of shady practices amid legal battle. This is actually a bigger story here, guys. We've got even bigger stories here. I've got to fit them in the last 5 minutes somehow. Al Dorati, the CLO for Ripple, said he's brought attention to what he describes as the SEC's suppression of information about meetings with a convicted individual. This claim adds to the controversy surrounding the agency's, SEC's, transparency and decision-making process. Additionally, Alderati referenced criticism from the government's internal auditor, highlighting concerns about the SEC's practices. So more to come on that. This is an important figure, Alderati, the CLO over there at Ripple, trying to bring a little bit of truth, a little bit of transparency to the space. Cardano founder Hoskinson speaks out on Ethereum insider revelations. Yes, this is what's been rattling around in the crypto media for a little while, as this guy's Steven Naryov has been going around kind of. As I watch and listen and observe this, Hoskinson actually put a video out recently, and I encourage you all to go watch this. This was from just 16 hours ago. Okay, it's a 22-minute video. I turned up this. I watched it this morning. Right. My takeaway from that video is essentially that this is. I don't know that it's going to be a nothing burger, right? But Hoskinson has a lot more motivation to be salty and hate Ethereum, right, and Vitalik. Right, but he comes across in this video as that would lead me to believe that it's a nothing burger here. Everything that Steven Naryov is saying. So, do with that information what you will. Ultimately, this would kind of boil down to bullish for Ethereum, right? Which again, Hoskinson has every incentive to go against Ethereum and say, yeah, whatever Steven Naryov's got cooking up, it's going to really come down. It's going to really hurt Ethereum, right? He doesn't do that in this video. Okay, he really kind of qualifies it all, says maybe Steven's got some stuff, right? Steven's kind of a good guy, right? He's somewhat trustworthy, but you can kind of read between the lines. Hoskinson kind of telling folks, look, this isn't going to be big. There might be some stuff here that I didn't know about, but probably not. That's kind of my read on the situation as it evolves. Let me know if you disagree with me. Maybe you've seen something I have not with this story as it unfolds. There's a lot here that I haven't said, so I apologize for the noobs. This is a little inside baseball. You kind of have to have a little context in crypto to have found any value in that last story. But the SEC delays Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. Here are the next deadline dates. And we're not going to look. Here, if for nothing else, like the video because of this, I'm not going to scroll through all the ads that the Bitcoinist.com wants to throw at you. Look at this spinning wheel, right? There's all kinds of ads. I've just gone straight to the chart. Look at that. All right, so the next big dates here are highlighted for us. Thank you so much, journalists over at Bitcoinist.com. I should have actually shown the ads, shouldn't I? No. Okay, so the first deadlines, the next ones coming up here are 11/17. Okay, so November 17th, that's coming up. That's today. Okay, so the SEC has already said that a day in advance, yesterday, that they are not going to be approving some ETFs, right? So more than likely, that's what's going to happen here is a delay here. Now, the second deadline is the 21st, and this is the reason I'm bringing it up to your attention, because this is the one where there is a little bit more likelihood. So something to watch. Do I think it's going to get approved? No, I don't. I think it's going to be delayed, right? Think it's going to be delayed. Now, here is the most important one. It's not highlighted by these journalists here at Bitcoinist.com, but this is the one I think is the most important because it's the first final deadline, right, for ARK Invest. So it's for ARK Invest 21 shares Bitcoin spot ETF refiling, the final deadline. This is kind of the moment that is really, really important. All of this, this third deadline, they can delay again. They can just delay it. Wait till the final day to delay it. They can do it a day and before, like they did for the second deadlines. I'm sorry, for the first deadlines. So we'll see. We'll have to see. But this is kind of the make or break date, January 10th and 11th. All right. So very important dates there. Last story here, very important. Tim brought this to my attention. We're going to have to break this one down probably at 3 p.m. a lot more. But BlackRock states Cardano and other L1s are a risk to Bitcoin demand and price. So this is actually in their registration statement. Okay, so part of the filings that they're trying to get approval for their Bitcoin spot ETF is actually a little bit of dialogue here about Cardano. So, but it's specifically about L1s, layer ones. Okay, so here's the sentence: competition from the emergence or growth of alternative digital assets and smart contract platforms such as Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, Polkadot, or Cardano could have a negative impact on the demand for and price of Bitcoin and thereby adversely affect the value of the shares. Okay. So does that mean you should sell all your crypto? Obviously not, right? Does it mean you should sell all your Cardano? No. I think this is an early warning sign, and warning's probably not even the right word. I think this is an early sign of kind of BlackRock's positioning in the space. Doesn't mean that they're going to come anything close to winning, meaning wiping out, Cardano, Polkadot, like anything like that's going to happen. But this is kind of, BlackRock saying, you might think we're over here on side crypto as we're releasing this ETF, right? But we're kind of more over here on side Bitcoin, right? As we're releasing this spot ETF. Now, they've also issued that, they've applied for a spot Ethereum ETF, so that kind of brings them back to over here, right? So they're kind of positioning, right? That's the point that you should be trying to make here, is like kind of how boxers are sitting there getting ready for the fight. They're shucking and jiving. It may be in BlackRock's interest for you to initially, as a retail investor, initially think that they're over here, right? But then a month later, they're going to actually show that they're over here. Now, why is that important? Because that's what moves price, right? When knowledge becomes public, right? And this is knowledge. This is the definition of knowledge. When the motivations, right, the perspectives of the biggest players in a market, when those become known, that's what moves price. Okay, so hopefully that was all very useful for you. Make sure that you smash the like button on the way out. I have been T-Shroom, and I hope that I've earned your subscription to this very YouTube channel if I did not earn it before. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I'll see you at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where Army Piper will be joining me. Speaking of Army Piper, he's going live right now. Go find him at Piper Academy. I'll see you guys at 3.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shouted out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news, got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.